I'm about that. Cause I'm about that.
I really love that they bring back the human drivers from the TV show Agent Carter. James D. Arce, that's his last name. He played the human Jarvis in Agent Carter. If you guys didn't see that first 2 seasons, that was really great. I really love that they canonicized that show. So that gives me heart. They confirmed that. So something else. Oh my god! Thank goodness I didn't read that. Anyway,
whatever it takes, baby.
yeah, whatever it takes. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. I really dug that we saw the Ant-Man helmet from the classic.
Yo, that was dope as shit, Andreas. Don't even lie. That was funny as shit. Tell me that shit was not funny, dude.
Folks, where this is supposed to be an
Come on.
entertainment, serious review, and this
is the bleeding edge report, but it's still bleeding edge style, baby. So like, I'm just saying, you have to admit that was really dope, wasn't it? That was pretty funny.
I mean, I was happy to see that.
Oh, I see. It had nothing to do with me, huh? Anyways, folks, we are the MCU'S Bleeding Edge channel and podcast here to do our every Monday show. Every Monday we're here. Me and this strange time traveling dude over here named Andre's Pop Culture Guy doing the MCU'S Bleeding Edge report at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. We are starting off the show with the Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, episode 1 breakdown review. Essentially, that's how we're going to start things off. Then we've got a back half segment where we're going to cover, current MCU fandom, pop culture, rumors and events and whatnot, news, and we're going to talk about Henry Cavill potentially maybe being cast in the MCU, and the disputes right now with the Spider-Man 4 film between Sony and Marvel across the board, between the rushing of the film Sony kind of wants, Marvel not really being down with that, and then on top of that, things like Madam Web. Sort of affecting the Marvel brand potentially a little bit and whatnot, So Andreas, the pop culture guy, what's up, sir? How you doing?
Very good. Just very exhausted. I started my training on my new job, which was fun, and so yeah, we're off from that. And then last night I saw The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, which was awesome, which we'll get into. So I was very excited to see Rachel Michonne again. What else? And yeah, just.
Well, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
I already said something about it in one of the Facebook, like Walking Dead chats I'm in. Which shout out to anybody from the chat that's checking us out tonight on the show. We appreciate you. I already said something in there that like how episode 1 of Rick and Michonne, The Ones Who Live, is already better than Daryl Dixon and Dead City.
I will say it's better than Dead City. Daryl, that's a tough one.
I think it's already better than any of the episodes of Daryl Dixon.
Really? Okay.
This episode was really good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, are we starting with the geeky news?
We're starting off with we're always going to do the Rick and Michonne stuff. I already told you that's going to be the first. That's going to how we're going to come on. Listen to me, bro. I already dropped all that. We're starting off with Rick and Michonne episode 1, The Ones Who Live.
See, folks, I'm Rick, and I make my own rules and my own.
Whatever. So, anyways, the way I want to start off is with that question. I'm asking you, do you think that episode 1? I think episode 1 is better than any episode of Daryl Dixon. I do.
Okay.
Just off cuff. Is that buy, sell, or hold on that?
Let me say the second option, but buy stand. I
sell?
mean, yeah, sell. I think is a good pilot. I like it. It's definitely better than, I definitely say I'll agree than Daryl Dixon's pilot and Dead City. But I cannot say the whole series yet because I still think Daryl Dixon is a great series as a whole. But we'll get to more of that. But overall, I think it's a great pilot. I think it's great. It's awesome. It has a lot of intrigue, action, zombie kills. I love comic book, stuff that they finally did, which we'll get into. which people will know who we're talking about. Well, what I'm talking about. I was like, oh wow, they did it. And and the ending, one of the best endings, like the setup, what's going to happen in this series. So I'm very excited for this next 5 weeks.
I love the sound that fucking gun makes, that projectile weapon that Michonne shoots in the trailer. I love that sound when she shoots the helicopter down, or Nat, or whoever the fuck that is that shoots the helicopter down. That sound of her, and now you see that it can be shot in repeated style. How the hell did they shoot down a helicopter that high, like up in the? I can't wait till to find out in episode 2 or whatever. I hope they show it. Yeah. How did they shoot down that fucking helicopter that high up?
I know, like, I want to see that scene what we saw in the trailers of her swinging at the walkers, because
I'm gonna play the trailer, even though, folks, I apologize. All those of you who catch us non-live, you're not gonna see the trailer because I'm gonna have to trim them out because, unfortunately, I don't know if it's because we haven't reached elite status on YouTube yet, or if it's because it's just YouTube fucking with us. But when I played them before, we got copyright, righted and whatnot, and that takes away our monetization. So. Those of you, a lot of you who are going to catch this, tomorrow, this is Monday, 2/26. You're not going to see the trailers, but we're going to play them. They're really good. I would, impeach you to go and beseech you to go check them out. But no, all that happens in the trailer is she shoots it into the walkers, and you see like a big patch of the walkers all explode into fire, right? Yeah. I wonder what height they were at that they were able to shoot that thing down.
I mean, like, well, I wonder if the weapons are like target like cannons, because usually those are like the ones that can shoot really high.
Apparently, the Net character that we see in the trailer is the one that like knows about like pyrotechnics and shit like that and whatnot and all that, and is the one that is capable of creating these weapons.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That makes sense because he knows how to like make the projection high enough to like
see, we don't know what's going on at that point on the ground though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Michonne could be taking on the CRM right now. Like, we've already seen stuff in the trailers. I think it's going to be episode 2 where I think they're going to flip it over, don't you? For episode 2, and they're going to turn it around. Whereas episode 1 was all about Rick, right? They're going to show Michonne's version of what's transpired in like these last whatever it's been 6, 7, 8, 10 years. They haven't really explained exactly how many years have passed, but you get my point. Don't you see that episode 2 going in that direction?
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of the timeline, what was it 2 weeks ago, right? We were asking the audience, or we were asking how many years has happened, because I knew it was a time jump they did in the original series. And it was 6 years. I should have sent the link of the screen crush, because Ryan Airy actually did a recap on the what was going on for this first episode, and he explained that in the original Walking Dead we jumped into 6 years after season 9, after Rick gets medical attention by the CRM, that's what you call them.
The CRM. Yep.
Right. And so, so like we're 5 years in this like timeline of Rick being with them.
Since Jadis grabbed him or whatever, whatnot. You're saying it's been 5 years?
Yes, that's what we get in this episode.
That's official. Like, we know that for a fact.
Yeah, exactly. So we're probably gonna see like I think we're going to see it differently from Michonne, because
so does that mean it's been 5 years since Michonne took off from Alexandria and told her kids that she was going to go ahead and find Rick?
It was actually after season 10, so it was already in year 6, if I had to say it. Hey, Cyber, how you doing?
What's up, Cyber? Oh, Cyber, I'm just over here hanging out with Andre. He's fucking up the rotation and shit, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Getting it all screwed up and everything and whatnot, and then having to help me put it back together. But other than that, I'm doing good, bro. I'm trying to get prepped and all researched up and whatnot, everything for Shogun episode 1. There's a lot to learn. It's gonna be we're not gonna have Andre, so we're not gonna be full strength. Andres is worth like 2 people on the panel. So we're gonna be down 2 people on the panel because Andres is taking the night off. So 2 people are losing in one shot. That's tough.
Hey.
It's a big blow.
Hey, hopefully the 2 people you have are
I'm just kidding. We'll have it'll be good because that way, there'll be more room for our new guests to talk.
Yeah. Well, also it's not what if, like at least it wasn't like Abomination, and it wasn't like, so you're probably gonna get. Oh, look at this. LOL. Well, Time Cop is 60-Minute Man and Title Man.
What the fuck is Title Man? That's the dumbest fucking. That's your dumbest title so far. Out of all your titles, title name is the stupidest, most weakest one. It seriously sucks.
Oh my god!
You're not gonna pull nothing with Title Game or Title King or whatever the fucking.
I mean, first off, the Title Man is just the multiple
Title
titles.
Man. Okay, Title Man.
Yeah, because I have so many titles of myself. Time Lord.
Oh, I know.
Cop,
ever since you joined the panel, baby, you've evolved. And you have 17 different titles now.
Hey, don't blame me. Blame
Batlord. Batlord.
Well, I mean, Batlord, we can blame
Raven from Boost and Chill.
Boost and Chill.
So let's play one of these trailers.
Yeah, sure.
That'll kind of kick us into the episode a little bit, I think, and whatnot. We'll be able to really get into the review after that.
Yeah, I agree. I send you the links for the recaps. I think the best to use it is the Hollywood Reporter.
I saw it.
Very good.
Drop off. There we go. Yeah, so I love that final shot of Daniel Guerrera. Right, it's like just against the wind, like holding her head up and whatnot and everything. Right, like what did you think of the dream sequences in episode 1? During the time, it shows all the time that Rick spends with the CRM.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And as a part of like his like his only way to he creates this dream state with him and Michonne where they're like in real life, and you can see that he has his hand back and everything and whatnot when he's already lost it in the beginning, right? Which we'll talk about in a minute. But what did you think of the whole addition of the dream state deal throughout the episode? Is like
the dream sequence. Yeah. I actually like it. I mean, it's very good plot device. It's just kind of see your character's head is at right now. And so, like, we're seeing what is going on with Rick right now during this, like, the CRM kind of involvement. And, he's trying his best to, like, have some hope to, like, renewed or, like, get back to Michonne and everyone else, the daughter. And one thing, the son, because that's something that I don't know our audience knows this, but, like, he also has a son with Michonne.
Yeah,
and, so like having these dream sequence makes a lot of sense, and it shows like what if the virus and the walkers didn't happen, and like how could Rick met Michonne in this like normal society instead of this apocalyptic society they're in right now. And so it's very effective. I mean, first off, we need to talk about Andrew Lincoln for just a minute. Andrew Lincoln is the MVP of this episode. He is amazing.
He's your crimes, bitch. I mean, come on. And I just want to point out, too, that this is important, I think. The Ones Who Live was created by Scott Gimple, Danny Guerrera, and Andrew Lincoln. So, and honestly, so Andrew Lincoln and Danny Guerrera were heavily participated in the production of the series. Like, they contributed heavily into the all-out production of the series. They were separate pieces of it, so they're not just the main characters, right? I wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I was shocked about that actually when we had the credits for the show, and I was like, oh, so they created the show with Scott Gimple. So yeah, I'm very happy they're heavily involved in this show, because we talked about they were writers in some of the episodes, so that actually made a lot of sense now. Now we're talking about it. So yeah, I mean, you can see that they're putting a lot of effort in the show, which is great. I mean, come on, this is Rick and Michonne, two of the best. I mean, two of the popular and most important characters of The Walking Dead. And yeah, I'm loving that these two are still in love with these characters and they're
Do you want to
trying
address this statement from the comment section, or do you want me to address it?
no, I would, yeah. Um, we brought up that Jace was in the spin-off show, The Walking Dead World Beyond. It was a 2-season.
We didn't bring it up. No, I only remembered her from The Walking Dead itself. I heard from my research that she was in World Beyond.
Yeah, so I'll address this. And I'm a little fussy with this part, but I know that she's in that show. That's where the CRM are heavily involved in that show. You see what they're doing in the society and what
And the CRM, of course, is the military that came out from the old military, the old government and whatnot. That essentially is what's left of the established government or military force left in the country.
Yes.
And they have 3 hubs essentially that we find out in the beginning through the first 35, 40 minutes of the episode. All it is Rick just talking and flashbacking through his time at the CRM after being picked up from when Jadis, dropped him off to them in the helicopter and whatnot in The Walking Dead. And essentially, and then we see Rick and Michonne meet at the end of the episode, right at the end. But no, go ahead. I'm sorry, Andres.
Yeah. I just wanted last thing about the Jace thing, because this episode, they confirm a lot of things. Like for her character, the reason that she saved Rick was really for selfish reasons, to promote herself into the ranks of the CRM, and because we discovered that the marks of A and B are for the A's, for the humans are the ones that they consider dangerous and they were not going to save them. And she changed it to B.
She saved his life essentially by doing that. She saved his life because he is an A, right? Yeah. He is. A's are the ones who people will follow, right? The ones who will fight. You know what I mean? Whatnot, and do things like rebel against the government, like Okafor. Okafor wins the Monica Rambeau Award already for the series, just from episode 1, even though he's already dead or whatever. It doesn't even matter. Yeah. He's already won the Monica Rambeau Award. He was that good in the first episode. Yeah. Right? Wasn't he good?
I mean, first off, he has the best death ever. He gets shot in the neck, and then all of a sudden he explodes right in front of Rick.
Maybe he'll come back in season 2 and he'll be alive with the chick from Godzilla minus 1, right? Together, hold hands. What do you think? They'll come blown in by the hurricane winds or whatever and shit.
And then he will have a mark in his neck, just like her.
He'll just have a broken arm. They'll have matching broken arm casts and shit. They can sign each other's casts.
Oh my god, that is so funny. Yeah. Oh my god, that is funny. And anyone never seen Bias Wanted.
Michonne, listen, thank you very much to whoever it was in the comment section. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name. I'm gonna try it. Check this out. This is gonna be dope. Gizid for Ev. Gizider for Ev. There you go. We appreciate you. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
And thanks for the comment. We appreciate the engagement. But
thank you for bringing her part in
she's important. No, now tell me it wasn't fucking badass to see Michonne take out Rick's whole unit. Now, don't get me wrong. I know their helicopter just crashed, right? But they come out with their guns out and ready. And then she comes out with that katana and takes them all out, the whole team. But then, I mean, she does scatter them first with the gun.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck that weapon is.
I
want one of them bitches.
Yeah, I definitely want those weapons too. Look, Michonne, I mean, first off, Diana Garia, still badass, still the Michonne we know from since season 3. She joined the cast, and oh my god, that was badass. I mean, her get up is kind of cool. We saw that a little bit in the trailers.
This is gonna be an intense week, man. I'm gonna have to watch. We're gonna watch Shogun now. Oh my god, Shogun competing with this.
I know. Hey, we got less content this year because of the writer strike. So I'm happy we're getting content like these to be good. So
good content.
Yeah, good content. So which is good because that was the problem last. Well, I mean, like TV was fine last year, but but it was like very inconsistent with the movie.
We're gonna cover good stuff this year.
Yeah, which is good.
We've been covering pretty good stuff. Honestly, we beat up Dead City a little bit and whatnot and everything, but it wasn't that bad. It was watchable.
Yeah, it was watchable. I mean, it was. I mean, it was better than some of the other spin-offs that this universe did, and you know, Daryl Dixon was awesome. It was one of the best shows. I loved it.
That's
And,
true. You know what? We didn't talk about that really at all during the Dead City reviews, but I did watch like one of the spin-off series, the Fear of Walking Dead. I watched the first like 2 or 3 seasons of that. Dead City was better than any of that.
Yeah,
I think it was. No, I didn't get to see any of this. I didn't get to see the parts of Fear of the Walking Dead when Morgan came to the show, though. I love Morgan, man. Have you seen the people that people are thinking that Morgan might end up popping up in this series?
no, that would be so awesome. Like have Rick. Oh my god, that'd be
Like Morgan decided to take off and look for Rick too.
Yeah, that makes sense. It'll be just like season 5, where like we saw like the post-credit scenes of him like almost getting to the group. That always made me so excited because I love Morgan from like season 1. He's always a great character.
All right, so the beginning of the episode, Rick cuts off his hand. What were your thoughts of that shit? Now that he acted that really well, I thought.
Oh my god! First, I mean, I was not expecting him to cut his hand. I thought he was like going to escape or try like cut the chain, but no, he went through the hand, which is great. And anyone doesn't know that's from the comic books. He lost his hand from the governor in the comic books, and the show did tease that throughout his 9th season run of Rick, and finally getting that here in his own spin-off show was really great. And not only that, he put his his infinite hand to a firing walker to like heal to stop the bleeding. That was badass. I thought that was cool. I was just shocked that they did that, and I was like, no way. I thought it was like a dream sequence, Jeff. I thought initially in my viewing, I thought that was a dream sequence. Him chopping his head was like fake, but no, it was real, and I was like, oh my god, they actually did it. So, and yeah, the Interlinking really performed that scene so well, like really chopping his hand for real. So, I mean, he has a cool hand with a knife, like popping out. So,
oh yeah, later on, yeah,
later on. So, but yeah, overall, I was very shocked they did that, and it was a good time to like.
What'd you think of him? How they had him tethered like that? That was interesting, right? He was tethered to a human being, another person. Remember?
Yeah, that was funny.
Remember, that's why he didn't cut his hand off.
Yeah,
because he was fighting. He was fighting tethered, or like killing walkers tethered because he'd already escaped so many times, right?
Yes, yeah, which we got later after that scene. Yeah, it was very intriguing. So like that was really cool. And I was surprised like the guy that was holding Rick didn't get killed by one of the walkers, but whatever. So I mean, it was very, very funny. So that was shocking. And then afterwards, like we saw the scene from the trailer where was it Rick was working to like kill off the walkers in that like outside where we meet the I forgot the character's name, the his handler, what's his name, Beal or
you mean Major Beal?
Not Major Beal. It was Nat Bailey. That was the guy's name.
At which point in the episode are we talking about?
The lieutenant colonel from the CRM, that the guy that was looking over for Rick, and he was the one that like.
That's Okafor. That's Okafor.
Okay, when we get to the next scene where we meet Okafor, and he talks about you've been, he's been, it's been kind of getting passes by the high ups because they want him to be part of the CRM, right? And the fact that he trying to escape multiple times and cut his hand, and it's like it's not doing good. Thank you. Yeah, because I forgot who was that.
That's Okafor. Yeah. No, but let's not jump too far ahead. I do want to, I'm gonna basically surmise it from start to finish right here.
Yeah.
So from his hand getting cut off, right? Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, go ahead. Go back to the steps. I'm sorry, because
After that, we see the first dream sequence with Rick and Michonne. What did you think of that shit when it first happened? What did you make of it? I didn't realize that's what it was. I didn't understand until the end of the episode that that's what that was, and it was a dream sequence.
Yeah, it was the same feeling for me. I was like, what was this? Or like, was it like a fake out that everything was not real, like the walkers and all that? And then when we cut back to waking up in the bed with his, was it his right hand cut off? I was like, oh, okay, it was a dream sequence. So a minute I was kind of confused, but then we saw Rick waking up. It was like, okay, it was a dream sequence.
Now the episode title of this was Years. Episode 2 title is Gone. Episode 3 title is Bye. The first episode of the first episode of Walking Dead I think is Years Gone By.
Yes.
I could be wrong, but I believe it is something like that. But I'll look it up and check it out in just a minute.
Yeah.
No, but so what? No, continue on. What did you think of the dream sequence at first? What did you make out of? What did you make of it?
Well, I mean, first off, Rick is trying to stay positive, and so he's trying to dream this like very like utopia, like very like civilized kind of way how he wanted to meet up with Michonne for like the first time, not in the way they kind of first met in the Walking Dead universe, right? That there's no walkers, like it's like a what if actually, like it's a what if like episode for Rick is like what if Rick meets Michonne in the regular society instead of the the dead universe they're in right now, right? And that and it's really cool because because how they met, like the beginning of the show was very different. Like they were very like I say antagonist because she was with the other Ultra was it Andrea, the blonde chick that Andrea, thank you. And and of course none of the group didn't trust her yet until she brought up Andrea, and where is she and all that. And so it's interesting how far they became as a couple. And then this dream sequence, like it's kind of sweet and cute, Rick trying to keep his positive of trying to renew with Michonne someday. So that's the point of this dream sequence, which I like. And he almost gave up, but at the end he got his wish of renewing.
Hold on, I don't want to get that far.
Yeah.
I want to point out that the episode does actually begin with Rick watching a newscast of the Omaha genocide seen on The Walking Dead World Beyond.
Okay.
Yeah, you're seeing the control the CRM has over a city across the country. Rick feels hopeless in his attempt to leave. And we see him contemplate committing suicide with a blade of glass, right? Which we see repeated again later on.
Yeah.
But stops himself, before it gets too deep. It has been 5 years since being taken by the Civic Republic military, right?
Yeah.
The CRM. And Rick is accompanied by Pearl Thorne, who I really enjoyed as a secondary character in the first episode. I really liked her.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah, and other co-signees on an assignment to extract walkers outside the Civic Republic walls. The work is voluntary, or so the voice of the speaker says, which appear to be a part of Rick's larger plan. So I do want to point out that did all occur. So basically, Andres, what would you agree with me that I feel like you didn't really have to you didn't have to watch all of The Walking Dead or even have watched Dead City or Daryl Dixon at all to be able to come into this first episode of the series and kind of understand what's going on. They made it to where you could walk right in really with this.
Well, I mean, first off, they did the recaps for the episode start, so like they give you a good recap of like what happened with Rick and Michonne, and like the only time with Daryl and Dead City, you just need to know where we left the characters off. So for this, it's like for me recommending for you guys is just go back to the episodes where we left off Rick and Michonne in the original Walking Dead series, okay, and then you're gonna be fine going into this show. You don't have to see all the episodes of The Walking Dead. Just watch their last episodes of them leaving the Walking Dead show, and that's where you're gonna be fine getting into the show, which is good. And plus, they did a good job recapping the show. Because Jeff, remind me, they didn't do this with did they do this with Density and Daryl, like in their first episodes, like recapping where we left off with their characters?
They didn't have to. They didn't use a lot of flashback sequences. Remember?
Okay, yeah, because I was thinking about this because this.
Remember they didn't really do it. Daryl Dixon did a little bit, but not that much. Remember?
Yeah, right. Because in Daryl, they kind of just like were setting up of why he was stranded into French, right? Like he was on the road, and not getting into like what was going on with Daryl, but he was going on the road, and then he was involved with something, and then it got him into the boat and got him into French in Paris and the show.
Yeah, he met the boat, and unfortunately, it turned out to be a boat that just happened to be the one where they were carrying all the experimental walkers and shit and all that.
Yeah, exactly. And then here, very different, where they actually give you like context on where Rick was left off, and then where Michonne was left.
Oh
off.
Yeah, they do actually show scenes from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, and so
they don't show where Michonne is left off at all. They don't go into that. It's all Rick's narrative in that first episode. We only see Michonne at the end. That's it. When the helicopter gets crashes, we see Michonne. Other than that, there's no Michonne.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, no.
It's completely a narrative. The entire 35, 40 minutes is nothing but a narrative of Rick's, of like him narrating flashbacks of what's been going on his entire 5 years of the CRM.
Yes, that's correct.
Until right there in the last 5 minutes, the helicopter gets shot down. He comes out. Michonne kicks everybody's ass, right, after she blasts him with the fucking gun thing. And then she's about to kill Rick until she demasks him, right? And like that's what they catch eyes and whatnot. They do a great job. It's a great ending, scene. But essentially, that's it. It ends right there. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying in episode 2, it's going to flip over and it's going to show Michonne's trek over those 5 years. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're going to parallel off that.
Maybe.
Does that make sense? No, they will.
Yeah. Maybe.
It only makes common sense.
Yes. Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Because I mean, we saw the.
It's what you do in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And this was very Walking Dead-ish. This was the most Walking Dead orientated of the 2 spin-off series, Daryl Dixon and the Dead City, that I've seen. There's a lot of Walking Dead in this. There's a lot of the Scott Gimple, real hardcore Walking Dead. We saw a lot of zombies, a lot of zombie killing. We didn't see much of that, right? The Dead City, at least, we didn't see much of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But it wasn't as creative as the actually.
This is only the first episode.
Yeah, the first episode. Like, actually, this is like the most world building, like connective. Like, it was like almost like the most important, like Walking Dead universe show, to bring all the ideas of those 2 shows together. Because first off, they confirmed they're using the walkers.
This is its entirely own story, though. Just like Dead City and Daryl Dixon, there is no connection.
No.
At this point, there is none.
No, not like connecting those shows. I'm more like they're confirming the ideas that they have is actually true. The example is the idea of using the walkers as renewable sources. That was something that was introduction into Dead City. That's what I'm saying.
And that's what the CRM was doing too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And what Karak was doing in his thing, where he was
the Crow app. Yep.
Yeah, like where he was explaining that the oil fluid that they were using, the gas was the walkers. You and I were kind of confused.
I still don't understand the science of that shit. It made no sense to me. Remember, we couldn't figure that out. It was almost about as understandable as the field hockey lacrosse game in Echo, right?
Yes. Oh my god, the hockey thing from Echo. I can't believe you brought that up. That is so funny. Yeah, and I it's funny. But this series, like I think Daryl Dixon did a better job where they were saying that also we're using the walkers as like an experiment,
as a weapon.
As a weapon.
As a weapon. They're weaponizing them.
Yeah, and so like
making them more deadly than they already are.
Exactly, which we see here with the walkers being burned. I mean,
I don't think those are those same ones.
Okay,
because the ones from Daryl Dixon they were like super powered, right? Like they were harder to kill. Rick was putting them things down with like one smash of his hatchet and shit and whatnot, like nothing, right?
Oh.
Those motherfuckers were just on fire.
Okay,
that's all. You see what I'm saying? Like that's all it was, right?
Okay,
like they already been blasted with like a missile or some shit. You feel me? Or like somebody threw a grenade on them or some shit, right? Somehow they were already on fire.
Okay, because it was interesting why they were like
those heated. Weren't. Yeah, those at that point. You have to remember that's when Rick's probably in the first year with the CRM, right? So like at that point, when he cuts his hand off,
yeah,
that's within the first year of his. Probably he's been with the CRM, right? So at that point, I doubt that the villain there that from from Daryl Dixon, that she would have already had those zombies. Like there'd be no reason in the U.S. that you'd see those kind of those zombies running around. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I wouldn't say this is not the first year because this is like his latest escape with the hand. Because
that's what I'm saying. That's within the first year, I think.
No. It's not the first year. This is like the 5th year, because.
But years occurred during the time that we're watching during the episode.
I'm trying to remember. They dropped the 5 years before that scene happened with him chopping the hand.
No, that wasn't the 5-year mark right there that he cut his hand off. Time went by during the whole episode. That like the years were passing.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what was happening. Yeah, that was him in the beginning, he cut his hand off right in the jump, right from jump at the CRM.
All right. Well, I need to rewatch the episode again to like.
Yeah. No, I'm just letting you know that's what happened. Anybody out there in the audience will back me up that watched the episode.
Yeah, because like.
Yeah, he's already escaped a couple times because in the beginning is when he was desperate and just wanted to leave, right? When you see him, the rest of the episode, what you see with him in Oakland 4 going back and forth, all what we're about to talk about, that's the progression of the years of him writing Michonne, having the dream sequences, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he doesn't cut his arm off in the 5th year.
5th year. All right, well, I mean, whatever. He cut his hand from the comic books finally, which is.
Anyways, so that's what happened though. So that's the gist of it, right? Is that somewhere in the first like year or two, whatever, is when he cuts his arm off, right? I liked his friend that he meets, Esteban, right?
Yes.
Like the guy that was working his 6-year deal for the CRM, right? And like you see, like Rick's buddy. Yeah, that was really cool when we saw him him being introduced. He was kind of like some comic relief. Or brought some humanity to the episode a little bit, right? You get to see Rick smile a little bit.
Yeah, and he also helped Rick out to escape in those tunnels.
I don't want to go that far. I'm not. Well, hold on. I'm just talking about the first appearance he popped in.
No, I want to talk about the character. I'm not jumping from that point. I'm just talking about how the character is good. I'm not jumping point. That's why I'm saying that he was a useful friend of Rick. How he was funny and was trying to communicate with him as a human person, but also he ended up being a helper for Rick to like know where to do in the tunnels when we get later into them. So, I wasn't jumping.
You already did jump. That's okay. It's fine, sir. You do. We love it when you do that. Time Lord, time cop. You time travel right across, right down the outline.
Yeah. Well. I mean, we don't have to stick to outline.
I know that. I know, sir. I know. So basically, what we find out, right, is that Oakland 4 has been keeping him alive, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, Rick learns that more and more throughout the episode, which is a really recurrent theme, and it's really interesting because it plays out in that really good scene towards the end with Oakland 4 and Rick, where they fight and everything and whatnot. Well, Rick kind of beats him up. They don't really fight necessarily. But essentially, we watch this evolution occur with Rick again with the dream sequences, meeting Esteban, he has the scene with Major Beal, right?
Yeah.
Where Major Beal kind of feels him out a little bit. And you see Major Beal even ask him a question about Okafor. Like, can I trust Okafor? Right? So already, like, and that sets up the premise, which is interesting, that essentially when Rick finally decides to cave in and get the military training and join the actual military and start wearing the uniform and all that shit, right? After we meet Pearl, right? Who's, again, great secondary character. I'll get your thoughts on her in just a minute. But that's when, Okafor pulls Pearl and Rick out and basically tells him that he wants them to be a part of like a rebellion within the CRM.
Yeah.
Right. Like he's not happy with what the direction of things are going and whatnot and everything. And like that, he needs them because he knows they're A's, not B's. Right.
Yeah. That
right.
Makes sense.
And that's why Rick at that point decides to, fall in line. He still wants to escape. Right. Because at this point, he doesn't completely understand everything that they know about him and that Okafor knows. But what did you think of that, Andreas, that Okafor, pulls them apart and whatnot, and everything, and the relationship between Pearl and Rick?
That was very intriguing that he wants to rebel against the CRM. And I mean, great scene. I mean, first the effects there were awesome with the backdrop there, and it made the character very more intriguing than just typical colonel military person. And that scene was very important to explain why Rick survived from as one of the commenters brought up with what's the lady's name? Jadis? That's her name. That saved Rick in the season 9. So it makes sense why he survived survived by a false statement. And and trying to rebel against this heavy military, presence is very hard. But this Colonel is explaining it that if you rise up in the ranks, you're able to rebel inside. Typical military.
He knows that Rick is that at the end of the day, Rick is one of those people where he's going to fight for life and for other people no matter what, and he knows that that's in him no matter what, right? Even though Rick is going through all this struggle right now with missing his family. Yeah.
And same thing with the lady as well. She's
Pearl, because she says there's somebody that I wish I could be with too.
Yeah, exactly. So
but she's trying to convince him and kind of guide him that like he has a purpose here.
Yeah, exactly. Which we'll see later in the episode.
No, so she was a really good character throughout the episode. I really thought that she was really strong. Because I mean, they've already done a great job lining up some really good secondary characters, at least with the CRM.
Yeah, I agree. Very intriguing. I mean, great actors playing these characters, which is good. And also they have at least personality, which is good. Something that Dead City lacked, and something that Daryl Dixon, the show, had at least personality with their characters.
Yeah. Shit, Okafor outacted every secondary character in Dead City just in this episode.
Oh, yeah, he did. I mean, that's John, but he was a good character. And Pearl was really great. I mean, I love the running gag of her throwing the glass at Rick.
The bottle, yeah, because she drinks liquor all the time and shit and whatnot. She's like a drunk.
Yeah, that was funny. I
thought she was gonna let Rick hit it there for a minute at that one point in the episode when she's like, "Let's go have a drink before we fight" or whatever.
Yeah, or the time I thought maybe she was gonna kiss him when they were in the room. I thought that maybe
I don't think Pearl's the kissing type. I think she's the one that where you just go right into the action. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, that's good because I was kind of concerned. I was like, oh no, please don't make her like a love interest.
And with Rick and Michonne and whatnot, all that stuff and whatnot, Rick probably wouldn't kiss either. He would just be like, "Let's fuck."
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Pearl was great.
He'd be like, "Bitch, I'm dying over here. I'm fighting zombies every day and shit. I cut my fucking arm off, and I can't even jerk off properly. It was my jerking off arm. I cut it off, right? So like, we can fuck. You know what I'm saying? But don't kiss him."
Oh my god. I have a question, and I know it was. I don't want to jump to the end, but was she with Pearl? Like, was Pearl in the helicopter crash?
No, I don't think Pearl's in there.
Okay, because if Michonne killed her, that's kind of sad.
No.
Okay, and first off, sir, I think what is it? Rick is a left-handed person, so he's able to jerk off.
Rick's so good. Rick doesn't even matter what hand Rick is. Rick Grimes is so fucking nasty that it doesn't even matter which hand he cuts off, whether it's his good hand or bad hand or whatever. Right? He's good with either hand. Either hand is his good hand. Yeah. He's
okay.
that ambidextrous, sir.
Sir, you seen the show, right? He always holds his gun in the left hand, so that is his good hand. So he actually, did, he did a good job of cutting his bad hand. So that's good.
No, that was a good move.
Actually, I don't. Going back to the cut of the hand thing, that's actually so there is a difference between the comic and the show. The cut hand is actually in the in the left hand in the comics. In this show, they did it with the right hand, so that we got the hand cut off.
And they do, but as you mentioned earlier, they do go ahead and hook him up with a prosthetic that has a blade and all that shit and whatnot, a la similar to the comics. And that's when we find out. And we have the great scene with Okafor. Where we find out, well, for one thing, by now, Okafor's already told him, and Beale's already told him, that Okafor actually was with the original military, the U.S. military that was set to bomb, a city, right? And that, Okafor turned against the military and the original government and went over to the CRM and decided instead, to kill 4,000 Marines rather than his own wife, right?
Yeah. So, no, it was in Screen Crush. Yeah, it was in Screen Crush. But
that's what happened.
Yeah. So in Screen Crush, I'll send you guys a link later. But Screen Crush explained this, and it made sense what was Okafor was explaining. If you've seen the previous spin-offs or the original show, if you saw the helicopters attacking, Atlanta and Los Angeles, that's what Okafor was talking about, and that made a lot of sense.
Yeah, that was what he was doing when they were dropping the napalm.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't really understand what he said that instead of dropping the bomb in the hundreds of thousands of people in the city, he killed the 4,000 Marines over and his wife. I don't know how that worked out, but either way, he turned coat and went over to the CRM at that point, right? And honestly, we find out then when Rick, does have the scene with Pearl where he has a chance to escape, right? Again, and he saves that child, right? And Pearl kind of stops him from escaping, and that's when we get the scene with Okafor, right? After he's gotten, Esteban, like you said, his buddy gave him the information how to get through that grate and whatnot because he got that promotion. We see the scene with Okafor where Okafor explains he knows about Michonne and Alexandria and all that shit. And that, if he ever does escape, he's tasked to kill him, right? And, take care of Michonne and, who knows what would happen to, people at the Alexandria and whatnot and everything for even knowing the presence of the CRM. So Rick realizes at that point that he's trapped. He can't leave no matter what anyway.
Yeah. So,
and we see them fight. Rick's beating the shit out of them, and then finally Okafor fights back. Right, yeah. But finally Rick gives in, and he almost kind of breaks down.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because so this part, if you guys were confused, how he knew about Michonne and Judas, the daughter, is because in in the final season, we see Rick throwing the phone, where is the image of Michonne in Japanese in the iPhone. And him throwing his boots in that boat, that's how Okafor actually found the information of he has a family that he has. That's how he got the information on Michonne and all that in this episode. So
he may have actually went into the town and asked people around. You never know.
No. This is connected to that episode where because Rick left a message in the.
I know we see it in the trailer.
Yeah, so that's the part that that Okafor is talking.
No, but what I'm saying is Okafor could have at any point he could have even went into Alexandria. He could have went up to Alexandria or talked to people and found out information about Rick in general. People would have known about Rick in the area. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he could have easily just went there.
I don't know about
if he went to that spot, he could have went to Alexandria or any of the communities, right? You see what I'm saying? It's possible. He knows everything.
Well, and I guess
he knows about Alexandria. He knows about everything.
Well, yeah, because they are probably.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't learn it all from the phone. He has the ability to go. He's probably 5 years has gone by. He's went and backtracked and found out who the fuck Rick is.
But there's no way, because the thing is, I don't have to know.
That's what he's telling him in the episode. He's saying, I know about all this shit.
Well, yeah, because he got the file.
So if you actually do escape,
yeah,
you're dead. They're dead. Everybody's dead.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That's the threat. That's what he's letting them know at that point, but not everything, right? Is that I'm tasked to kill you.
Yeah.
Just nobody can know about the CRM.
Yeah, and also like very funny that like Rick had a chance to kill him with that knife, and it was funny how they didn't break anything in his room or whatever that room was for him.
Well, that's that. I think that's because Rick was resigned finally at that point. He broke down. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when Okafor really got through to him.
Yeah.
Like and now he understood finally why he was still alive all this time and why he hadn't been killed by now by the CRM. It was all because of Okafor the whole time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that kind of vindicates Okafor's position in wanting Rick's help, right? To actually do good. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Okafor's kind of a good guy.
What I like about it, it's like similar to Morgan, like how like Rick was helping Morgan to get out of his rot when when Morgan's son got killed and became a walker, and I like how it's different here for Rick, like Rick.
Yeah, it's not Okafor's fault that this is his job, right? And this is where he's at in life and whatnot, right? And this is the decisions he's made, and it's not his job that it would be his task to go kill Rick, right? If Rick escapes, that's his role. Just like it's Rick's role, right, to do what he wants to do. Do you see what I'm saying? You get what I mean, right? Like you can't blame Okafor. Neither could Rick.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they could have just killed him at any point that they wanted to, literally.
Yeah, and they should know that he's like an A than a B. That's like the other thing.
I think the Major does know.
Yeah, like the Major does know that. Like
the Major's not stupid. He seems like he knows what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, but we'll see.
We find out about the whole Omaha, Portland, Philly deal, right? On the map, they show those are the three major hubs, right? And that Philly's sort of in secret.
Yeah,
like they're keeping that other third city as like a hidden thing from these other major cities. So we see that on the news. Rick and Pearl see that Omaha falls, right? And they automatically just assume that it was a CRM that did it.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, how else would if they had their actual city all built up, how the fuck else would it go down? Because of walkers? That makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense because it's someone in the CRM, so makes sense.
And the whole 6-year deal, whatnot, with Esteban, the friend, is that basically if you go in, right, and you work, doing whatever, killing, walkers, doing irrigation, growing crops, whatnot, everything, you put your 6 years in, you can become a citizen and live in the city and all that shit and whatnot. They have their own news, which is really cool. It's crazy that Rick actually has a nice apartment and he has a nice TV and whatnot, everything with the news on and all this shit and whatnot. It's not a bad spot.
No, I mean, I was shocked they have power, which is cool.
Yeah, they have power, right? Running water.
As Rick, because Rick narrates in the show, and it was really cool to hear the information that with the power sources they use in the walkers as the power source to generate electricity.
You saw those turbines spinning, right? When he would look out his window all throughout the episode.
Yeah. That's another one they use for power source, which is cool. I'm very curious how they get water supply.
That only makes sense that you would go to wind, right?
Yeah,
It's easy.
that's right.
It's cheap to make, right, and build. You know what I'm saying? Like, compared to other stuff.
Yeah.
Because your capabilities at this point are limited in what you can build in terms of getting the, being able to get the materials. But again, the CRM has all the resources. They've got all the helicopters and all that shit. They probably got boats.
Yeah, and technology that's still functional. So they're able to kind of make up the sources like very good.
Well, listen, let's wrap up the episode. So basically what ends up happening after the scene where Rick breaks down with Okafor and basically gives in, he dedicates himself, and we get the final dream scene with him and Michonne where he just kind of lets it go.
Yeah.
And like writes his last letter to Michonne and whatnot, right? And decides he's going to like think about the future, and join up with Pearl and whatnot, everything, right? And that leads us to the helicopter deal where he's basically telling Okafor the story of how his father burnt down their barn and their farm and all this shit, right?
Yeah. See, that was my favorite part because Rick doesn't really talk about his family life before, the outbreak. And this is like sort of like the first time he's talking about his dad and the situation his family were in. That was really good information and like really great emotional, like backbone of who Rick is and how he like thinks as a person.
It shows that him and Okafor have an actual friendship too, like a genuine, like is whatever you want to call it for Rick, right?
That's true. Yeah.
How about Rick flying a helicopter? Holy shit, man! Like they trained him up. Rick was already nasty. Now he's got military training.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, actually, it was funny. Speaking of Pearl, like it was funny when Pearl and him were paired up during the training. That's the thing that was so funny. And like he gets his butt kicked by her during the training session of the CRM, which was so funny. Yeah,
I know. It was like Shuri doming Namor in Wakanda Forever.
Oh yeah. That's good. Or realistically, like Daryl versus the super soldier walkers is more like that, or whatever. But it wasn't gonna be the Pigeon Man death.
Rick is nasty against walkers, man. He's the nasty side of all the Walking Dead characters when it comes to like hand on hand taking on walkers. I swear, in my experience, from what I've seen of The Walking Dead, Rick was always the nastiest when it came to like taking out walkers. Right? I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about walkers. So I didn't watch a lot of the people killing people stuff and whatnot. That's when I dropped out of The Walking Dead. Right?
Yeah.
I saw more of the walker killing. That's where Maggie's good. She can kill walkers.
I mean, first off, Michonne was very good at killing humans.
Oh, Michonne can kill some walkers and humans too. Yeah, Michonne's nice in general.
Yeah, I was happy when she killed the governor. It was very good.
Most definitely. And we're going to see her in episode 2, I promise. They're going to show like a parallel episode where, right, like we may not even see them together again in the episode. It may just show Michonne's trek over the 5 years.
Yeah.
And then it may end right at that same moment again, right? Where they first see each other or something like that. We don't know. We'll have to see. You know what I'm saying? But, essentially what we ended up happening is that when they're in the helicopter and Andres is explaining that they're having this sort of emotional moment. Right then is when they get shot at by like the weapon that sounds just like the one from the trailer that Michonne shoots.
Yeah.
Right? Like, with like the projectiles or whatnot. They get shot down, literally shot down by multiple like projectiles. They crash. They come out and like they try to fight back with their guns. But Michonne takes them apart. And that's when we see Rick and Michonne see each other face to face. And then we cut to black. So let's play our other trailer, Andres, and then we'll do our ratings and our final thoughts.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Now, when we see that helicopter shoot those missiles, that is Michonne and Rick in the helicopter with Rick. Now that we watched the first episode, I know that now. That's them shooting at the CRM or some shit like that and whatnot in that episode. That's not them. The CRM shooting at them. It's the opposite, right? Because now we know now that Rick has helicopter training. And obviously, it's obvious from these trailers now, folks. Would you agree, Andres, that regardless of what happens with Michonne and Rick at this point, they're going to end up revisiting the CRM? Like, either because they're being chased or whatnot, or because Rick feels a duty to Okafor to, like, straighten shit out over there, right? You could see Michonne saying things in the trailer that kind of lend that maybe she agrees what's Rick explains to her what's going on there, that they're a threat.
Yeah.
Right? Because Michonne is built just like Rick, kind of.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, I agree with you on that.
Did you see that vibe in the trailer now? That it looks like the CRM thing's going to drag out across the season?
Yeah, I mean, there's other scenes where we see the helicopter shooting a building, which we haven't seen in the first episode. So
that's what I'm saying. I think that's what Rick's in the helicopter.
Yeah, or the other CR soldiers chasing after them. So
why would they be at the top of a building like that and whatnot? That's what I'm saying. It makes sense now that that's probably Rick in there with Michonne or without Michonne to actually fire missiles at somebody. Now we know Rick knows how to fly.
Well, and we don't know that building could be that like the new post for the CRM, and that like Rick is attacking.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah,
so I
so,
think
like,
I think we're gonna end up.
I
think there's gonna be a season 2 of this. I do.
I mean, it's kind of obvious they're gonna do it.
Yeah, because they're gonna continue the CRM storyline, right? Even when they Michonne, even if whatever happens in episode 2 with Rick and Michonne, they're gonna continue the storyline. So, what are your thoughts to wrap up the episode, Andres, and then we'll do ratings?
Well, I mean, it was a great start. I think, just starting with Rick was a good choice, I think. And, like it gave you a great twist at the end that, we're going to like renewing the two characters because I kind of like that because we really did that with Daryl because of Carol. And like we, sort of set that up towards the end of that series. We saw Carol a little bit, setting up the second season with Daryl Dixon. So I was happy that they went with a different direction of like letting us see Michonne and Rick renewed, finally in the first single episode, which is great. And so I'm very excited to see the Michonne side of the episode in next week, which is great. Overall, great episode, great action. I mean, it had a lot of heart, and I was very emotional with this episode with Rick. I mean, Angelican just nailed it in the park with his performance here, and like he felt like he was right back as Rick, since day one of The Walking Dead. So, which is good. So yeah, I'm very excited to just review the series for the next 5 weeks, and hopefully they stick the landing. That's like the major thing of for me in these shows is like Dead City didn't stick the landing, Daryl Dixon did, so I'm hoping that this show does stick the landing, and like at least the season 2 makes a lot of sense, like how Daryl Dixon actually, because that show made a lot of justification to have a season 2, and hopefully this series it does.
Well, Dead City has justification to make season 2 because season 1 was so bad they've got to do a season 2 to be able to correct it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't. If you have a bad season, don't make it season 2. I'm sorry. That's my philosophy. So
I think Dead City still has hope. I still have hope for Dead City.
Yeah. I'm hoping they improve. I mean, at least
I'm telling you, it's the way that they wrote and handled Maggie. It was really the problem for me. It really was that and the secondary characters and the villain, who the Croat did not do it for me. That was my main thing. That's it.
Well, yeah. For me, it was the twist. Like I didn't like that they like gave us a twist that Maggie like had this like long
deal with the Croat and everything.
Yeah. Like I feel like that was so unnecessary for that.
She didn't seem like she was authentically acting that very well. Like she almost seemed like wasn't really like it wasn't real. You know what I'm saying? Like the way she was trying to pull it off, right there at the end.
Yeah, like she was trying. Like she was trying to trick.
It didn't seem authentic.
Yeah, like she was trying to like trick Negan. Like she didn't have like a plan to trick.
Yeah, it was weird, man.
Weird. Oh my God, we cannot forget about Jenny, the fake mute.
Don't even get me started with Jenny.
Oh yeah. Let's go back to that. Like
what a joke Jenny was. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What a useless character.
Yeah. See, I mean, I know.
Let's rate this episode and move on. We got other stuff to cover.
All right.
I'm dropping a 10 on 10. Dropping a 10 out of 10 on this bitch.
Yeah, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. I think it was a good episode. So awesome episode. Love it. Let's move on.
You heard it, folks. 10 plus 10 is 20 the last time I checked. So there you go. Double 10 from the MCU's Bleeding Edge. The MCU's Bleeding Edge report this Monday evening for episode 1 of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. Which is, of course, I believe the first episode is, I believe, again, titled Years.
Yes, it's just titled Years.
It is. All right, so moving on. We're going to start off with this whole Henry Cavill, reportedly potentially being a part of the MCU at this point to some extent already deal that we talked about last Monday. We're actually finally going to get into it. Let me pull the article up right now. So the first one that we have here is from, of course, Dexterto.com. It's Henry Cavill is reportedly accepted a role in the Marvel Universe, written by Jessica Cullen, published February 18th, 2024. So let me get into this bitch real quick, Andreas. Let's see what we got. All right. So Henry Cavill, there you go. You see him in the Man of Steel. Golden Boy, the DC, he plays Superman himself. He made his debut in Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, which marked the beginning of the DC Extended Universe. Then it was all over, and after exiting The Witcher, under the false premise of returning to that famous blue and red costume, it looked like Cavill's superhero days were behind him. However, recent rumors suggest that Cavill has been offered a spot at DC's major competitor, Marvel Studios. Henry Cavill reportedly accepts Marvel role. A recent social media post by a Scoop account said that Henry Cavill was offered a role at Marvel and is accepted. And this, of course, is my time to shine hello that several major YouTubers like the Cosmic Wonder, Everything Always, use basically I consider as a pretty solid source. Okay. So at that point, this is just a rumor. And there have been rumors before in the past that Cavill would be a great fit for Captain Britain. Now, if you would pull up something on Captain Britain for me, that'd be great. If you would pull up like a comic book synopsis of his powers and shit and whatnot, I'd love to look at that. But there's also been suggestions, as it mentions in the article, that he could play Hyperion, an eternal and founding member of the Squadron Supreme, although his powers are very similar to Superman's. So it makes you wonder kind of if Cavill would really want to play that character. Other brought up names have been Cyclops or the Sentry, right, in the Thunderbolts film.
Yeah.
Who was, of course, was currently set to be played by Louis Pullman, it's saying. Go ahead, Andreas.
Yeah, Sentry, nah, not true. We got that casting already done, so that's pretty much out of the question. Cyclops, that one I'm actually kind of in. I think that could definitely be the best part. If you want Cyclops to be the leader of the X-Men, I think Henry Cavill could be a good choice to play that character.
Well, it says it right here in the article right after. However, the majority of Marvel fans are willing to bet that he'd be playing Captain Britain because he's British, who is essentially the overseas version of Captain America. If this is true, that he'd likely be playing the Brian Braddock version of the hero, who was granted his powers after getting almost fatally injured in a motorcycle accident.
So, briefly, if anyone doesn't know Captain Britain, he's actually a mutant, and he's related to Psylocke. They're
brother and sister, aren't they?
Yeah. So if they bring him here, that would be a good way to reintroduce Psylocke in the MCU. So I send you a link to the.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Powers and stuff like that. This isn't like not new news. I mean, of Henry Cavill being connected to Captain Britain. Like the first time, after he was sort of done with Superman and Justice League, the Justice, the Joss Whedon cut, was released. It was kind of up the air where either or not he was going to return. And so the idea of him becoming Captain Britain was a very sound idea. And I totally with that idea of him becoming a Captain Britain or whoever he will put him in the MCU, because Henry Cavill is such a great actor. I mean, you haven't seen his films like Mission Impossible Fallout or, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which he was great in there. He's a great actor. It was always sad that he was so mishandled from DC and Warner Brothers in the DCEU, as a lot of us know. So this could be legit. There's other possibilities.
Let me focus on Captain Britain for a minute. So essentially, Captain Britain possesses superhuman strength, flight up to 770 miles per hour. So he can really fly really fast, not just fly. Which is that's important to point out, because not every for instance Rogue doesn't have that kind of ability. Like Rogue can fly, but Rogue can't fly like 770 miles per hour. She doesn't have that kind of ability. Neither can Captain Marvel, not that I know of. Either way, enhanced reflexes, stamina, and senses, all powered by interdimensional frictional energies focused on a matrix centered on the UK. Prolonged absence from his matrix weakens him. Those weaknesses may have been removed when he empowers Kelsey Lee, a.k.a. Lionheart. Let's see. All right. That's basically all I wanted to see right here and whatnot and everything. Andres, I appreciate you pulling that up. But yeah, he is basically like he I forget the name of the team that he led over there, but he led like an Avengers style team in Europe, in the UK.
It was called Excalibur. It was called.
Oh, is that what? Oh, that's right. It was called Excalibur. You're right.
Yeah, and that one was like a half Avengers, half mutant kind of team.
Now, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Very quickly, like Nightcrawler was there, and his sister was there as well.
Ah, that's right, Nightcrawler.
Yeah, so
they had several mutants on the team at one point.
Yep.
I think I even read a couple of Excalibur comics back in the day.
Oh, really?
A couple, I think. Yeah, I think I did read a couple.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out who else was in that team, but yeah, I remember it was Nightcrawler and his sister was in there as well. But,
it's like trying to remember. Wolverine's old team from Canada.
Alpha Flight.
Alpha Flight, right?
Yeah.
We're never going to get them now. All those rumors that we got about Alpha Flight for the last couple of years, whatnot. After everything, all the changes they made, that video I sent you earlier about what the direction that Marvel and Disney are going now, right? Towards more cinema movies, away from the Disney Plus series, because they think that's where they really need to focus. And that right, and we both agree. I know we've talked about it.
Yeah.
That it's really the live action series is that have really underperformed hardcore. So if anything, they want to trim that fat and put more money and effort into the live action films. But I mean, that's why I want to send you that video earlier, Andreas, because it's an interesting prism right now with Marvel Studios. Them and Disney, they're wanting to limit the amount of new characters that they're creating right now. This is a whole new MCU now where they're turning the page.
Yeah. So, like, I think a lot of people don't know is because Bob Iger, the head of Disney, have made a comment that he wants to focus on the existing characters they have right now instead of introducing more new characters. That's not what they want to do moving forward. So the plan is they want to release like at least more sequels to these 16 franchises they have. The
franchises they have that work already, that are sellable, they want to go ahead and focus on those, like Captain America 4, for instance.
Yeah, exactly. Or Thunderbolts, or like
Fantastic Four,
right? Like those type of movies, right?
Guaranteed products like Blade, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or if it's done right, it'll make money.
Yeah, exactly. So
right, maybe not $1 billion, but it'll make money.
Yeah, just like Guardians Volume 3. Like, if that made money, that's good.
I mean, who knows how much money they already pissed away on Blade already, right? You know what I'm saying? Probably God. Like what, $30-40 million already or some shit? Like for whatever they've already did. They already like shot like a quarter of the fucking movie or whatever and whatnot. And they threw it in the garbage.
We'll see. Hey, if they release a good trailer, then they're getting their money back.
They already said that they're going to cut the budget down to like $50 million for the film.
Yeah, I mean, like
that means that I'm just saying that means that they spent some serious money already. Like I'm saying, they're not going to scrap everything they've already shot. That's bullshit. I'm just making that up. They have stuff in there that they're going to use and whatnot. I'm just saying that they already spent a lot of money into Blade. They have.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't know that like like paying the writers is like a lot of money and like and other things.
Every time you stop and start the production of a project, that costs a lot of money.
Yeah,
arts, exactly. Right? Like you're starting something, then you're stopping and then having to go back and re-pick it back up again, right? Yeah, that means you're going to bring all your people back.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened with Deadpool 3 and Thunderbolts now currently, and Captain America or with the reshoots like.
That's not good. Those aren't not generally those. That's not good. Those aren't good signs for a production of look at the Marvels, right? When you're hearing these kind of bad things, right? It's not a good sign. But that's the weird spot the MCU's in right now in Marvel Studios, is that it is a good thing that they're doing these things. These things are happening, right? Because it shows that they're learning from their mistakes.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they are like at least cutting down their films and TV production, so that's good news there. And yeah, I mean, like I'm not too worried about Blade. I mean, the drama and everything has been kept to a lid compared to the Marvels. Like the thing is, the Marvels, like we knew about the drama because the articles and the insights of the reign of the Marvel Studios, book that was released prior to the movie release of the Marvels. I mean, also people were not enthused about that film, so like everything was down on the Marvels. But with Blade, like there's still hope for Blade to be a good film, and I still hope for that. And they're doing the right direction with Blade. They're taking their time, which is good, and pushing the film is not a bad idea.
No, it's not. It's a good thing. We both agree on that. Now here's the Cyclops article right here. Now, of course, this is from smallscreen.co.uk. Henry Cavill reportedly in line to play Cyclops in the MCU. Now, I've heard multiple rumors about this. The Cosmic Wonder has reported on this. So this is now you like this already, Andres. You already brought up earlier that you like this deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this. I think if out of the rumors, I think this makes more legit, because if you want to separate yourself from the Fox movies, this is a good way to make Cyclops to be the leader of the X-Men. And I think Henry Cavill does look the right part for Cyclops. And yeah, I hope this is true. Maybe, hopefully. I mean, this is just rumor, and it's like we're just.
Do you think Henry Cavill's like is he too bulky to be Cyclops?
No. Remember, before Superman, he wasn't that bulky. Like he's tall, and he was very skinny. If you watch some of his like early films before Man of Steel and like his role as Superman.
I just know that whenever I see him, other than when he's not Superman, he always looks like super ripped and shit and whatnot, and like jacked.
I know, yeah, it's very weird, but for me, it's not a big deal.
Like I saw him on like on YouTube or whatever, whatnot, like or whatever, with his shirt off or whatever, a year ago or some shit. Like, and he looked ripped as fuck.
Yeah, I mean,
but he looked like he was in Superman condition.
Yeah, it has to be like The Witcher, because he's doing that for a while, and probably have to.
He just has a very broad chest. That's it. I mean, I'm not saying he can't play Cyclops. Don't get me wrong. Cyclops is no small guy either. He's tall and like and somewhat muscular, right? He's not like a skinny guy, really.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at this picture right here. Look at him. Does he look like a tiny guy, Cyclops, right here? Look at his fucking arm. Isn't that him? That's him right there.
Yeah, in right above Rogue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's really tall, and like the arms are stretched. Yeah.
Damn, look at Rogue's titties. They look big. Those are like triple D's.
Oh my god.
Look at that bitches. Holy fuck.
I mean, Jean is there. She has good, tits.
Them titties are actually like longer in length than my penis.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That's
man.
just what you get, folks. Okay. I want to bring up other rumors, or like I show you the screen crush of like other possibility roles that maybe Cavill can play. I like the idea of maybe him playing villain to like.
Well, yeah. There's been talk about Dr. Doom potentially.
Maybe. But the one that I like the most is Mr. Sinister. If you check the screen crush, one of the editors brought up Mr. Sinister, and I think he could be a really good choice for that. I really like it. Or the Fantastic Four. Actually, we brought it up. He could be one of the heralds for Galactus. Like he could be a villain for that. And there is a character that like I think Cavill could play as the herald for Galactus. For the next Fantastic Four film we're going to get next year, or whenever they get the release date on time.
That's a YouTube video you sent me. I can't play that.
No. I just wanted you to see it before the show.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah, no. That wasn't the purpose. The screen crash was just
no. I'd like to see him as a villain. That'd be great. As Mr. Sinister, I love that. I think he'd be great. You know, honestly. Doesn't Mr. Sinister have like a bit of an accent, a European accent anyway?
Yeah, I mean, he has a scary voice, so I think Cavill can do it.
Yeah, I think he could. We do need good villains. We do. Right?
Yeah,
We need good villains.
and the best part of it, he could be a long-term villain for Henry Cavill. Like,
I'm just wondering how long it'll take for them to adapt Mr. Sinister into the MCU, because again, with everything that's been going on with Marvel Studios, the release dates for the Avengers 5 and 6 are way off now, right? Like, seriously, like they're way off. So, like, you know as well as I do that based on everything we both know from what's going on currently from Marvel Studios and from Disney, the plan still is to rock with like these Fox X-Men characters and like the Hugh Jackman Wolverine characters through Avengers and through Secret Wars, right? Or not through Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Then they're going to actually drop their lineup of the new X-Men. That's when we'll see the new team. So, you know, and now don't get me wrong. How old's Cavill? What is he like? Is 40? He like 40, 42, 41?
Yeah, let me check. Just give me a minute.
I was going to say, because I mean, honestly, he could easily wait 2 or 3 years and still play Cyclops or play Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
He could play Mr. Sinister at 55 if he wanted
40.
to.
He's 40 right now.
Mr. Sinister, oh yeah, see, Mr. Sinister, he would be either CGI'd anyway, or he would be like prosthetics and whatnot, makeup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you wouldn't know his age.
Yeah, and I think they'll be perfect for him.
He's an interesting villain.
Well, he's my favorite villain for the X-Men.
You know he's going to be the main villain of the first season of X-Men 97, right?
We all know that, and we're excited for that. I mean, and besides, he's also a major villain for season 2 of the original series when we get to that. So, he's the one that brings back our boy Morph.
Morph, baby.
See, I want to.
This one's for you, Morph.
This one's here for Morph.
Gene.
Everyone, remember what happened to Morph, and then I'm gonna psychically remember you the scene when he died. Apparently,
I'm gonna get a Morph scene. I'm telling you, I'm gonna find one. I'm gonna go on YouTube tomorrow, and I'm gonna write myself a note, and I'm gonna scour YouTube until I find a scene of Wolverine doing Morph.
Oh my god, please do. I always never get tired of Morph. He's so funny. This whole meeting is gonna get so funny each time. Oh, I want to answer your question about the introduction of Mr. Sinister. Like, when we get a X-Men film, that's where they're going to start, you know, building up Mr. Sinister there. And, I mean, right now, I cannot see the X-Men movie in the multiverse saga. I think Deadpool 3 will be the one that will lead us into the new... I think Deadpool 3 in the Secret Wars Avengers films will get us to the X-Men after this multiverse saga is done. Then I think the next new phase will get our actual X-Men trilogy. So that's that's the idea that I think Marvel Studios is doing. You know, we're getting Fantastic Four for this phases. So, you know, I can wait for another couple of years for X-Men. You know?
We're going to have to. It's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah. So, I mean, right now, at least we're getting X-Men 97 and Deadpool 3. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine. So at least we're actually getting X-Men for this phase. It's just not the way we're expecting it to be. So
no, go ahead, Andres.
Oh, I'm sorry, and you know, I know the Wolverine thing. We need to sort of bring that up because that's another rumor that people are kind of throwing out. I don't mind Henry Cavill to be the Wolverine after we get done with Hugh Jackman after Secret Wars. That's the idea.
It's not going to happen.
Oh, so
that's not the idea. It's never been the idea. He's never been heavily rumored to play Wolverine because they're going to want a younger Wolverine that can play the character for like 10 years.
Yeah, I think they're
going to use Jackman for a couple of years. They already said they're going to. Jackman's not done.
We'll see. I mean,
it's going to happen.
I mean,
the same source that broke this Cavill news, right, is the same one that literally is the one that is saying that literally Hugh Jackman's going. The Marvel Studios wants Hugh Jackman to continue playing Wolverine through the Avengers films.
I hope
my time to shine. These are credible, you know, leakers and sources and rumor mill type people on Twitter, man. Like that, all the major publications and sources on YouTube use them.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
Daniel RPK, My Time to Shine, right? They're the ones that they're, you've heard all the different names over the years
yeah,
of the ones that break this kind of shit. And it usually is on Twitter or X or,
or
what I'm saying,
Reddit,
or whatever, or Reddit, right?
I mean,
then there's other sources too, where you hear like all
yeah.
kinds of wild shit. But no, I've never seen that heavily rumored at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it, but at the same time, it's like I don't know, like
he's even taller and bigger than Jackman,
which it doesn't matter. I mean, Marvel Studios and like Fox didn't care after they kind of accepted that Hugh Jackman was tall.
But they didn't have a choice. They wanted Jackman to play Wolverine. He was the best actor that to play him, and obviously they were right?
Yeah.
But they had to change everything and whatnot, and all the scenes he was in to make himself look small and all that stuff and whatnot. They're not going to cast somebody purposely to do that again.
It was in the early films, and then it was really around the Wolverine, the second.
Wolverine's only 5'3".
Yeah,
or 5'2" in the comics. He's not 6'5".
Hey, look, Michael Keaton is short, and he was Batman, so I don't like. It's not a big deal about the height. It's like
the X-Men, though. That's the only problem.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, he's got to be on the screen with the whole team.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm just saying this because if you want, here's the thing: how you want Henry Cavill to be again in the superhero franchise after the DCU is you have to give him two big important roles.
I want to see him in a character and doing something that's completely opposite of Superman in the DC shit. So that's why it won't be Hyperion. It won't be Wolverine. It'll be probably Captain Britain because that's what makes the most common sense. Even he's said it himself when he's been asked about it.
Yeah, that's true.
He said, I'd love to actually be able to be British and act British. He's even said that he'd like to do it. That it'd be nice to just not have to think an American accent and all that shit and whatnot and just talk naturally. Right?
Yeah.
He said that about playing Captain Britain.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen the the Graham Norton show, he does talk about that.
Yeah, he said, well, it would be nice to actually be able to just be British or whatever, right? And he talks about the things that he obviously knows a little bit about the character or whatnot, everything, right?
Yeah,
it's obvious that he's talked to Marvel before, which we know he has.
Yeah, he has. Yeah,
because Marvel reaches out to everybody.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just like I'm sure you heard that at one point they talked to Daniel Craig.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know Daniel Craig was supposed to be in Doctor Strange 2, and then,
I can't remember what character it was he was supposed to play.
Yeah, it was something. It was another Thor character, but what's funny? They also considered him to be Thor when they were casting him in Phase 1.
Yeah.
And obviously, because he was doing James Bond at that time, so he kind of just.
That was when he peaked. That's why they never made the second Dragon Tattoo movie, because he cost too much money.
Yeah, I mean, because it was
that's when he peaked with Bond.
Well, yeah, because Skyfall happened the year after.
I know, and that just he became at that point. That's his salary demands were one of the main reasons why Sony decided not Sony. There you go. We're about to talk about Sony with Spider-Man. But the main reason that Sony and Amy Pascal decided to not make a second the girl with the dragon tattoo film, even though the first one was excellent.
I know.
Really good movie. And all the actors said that they wanted to do it. What's her name? The one actress, she was great. I thought she was the best actress so far that's played that character.
Rudy Mota. Yeah. Great. And David Fincher really wanted to do another one.
Yeah. And we like David Fincher.
Yeah. Great.
Right. And then of course, I like the girl that played her in the TV on the Swedish.
Naomi Rapace.
Yeah, I like her too.
Yeah, she's the one that was in Prometheus and other things.
Yeah, pretty solid movie, Prometheus.
Yeah, I seen bits of it. She was great, and she is the best part about that film. I was annoyed that the sequel killed her off. Yeah.
Okay, so to wrap this up, let's wrap things up and talk about Sony. So, from comicbookmovie.com, thank you, comicbookmovie.com. Spider-Man 4, Marvel, and Sony have very different ideas about who should direct. Of Spider-Man 4, Miles Morales MCU update. So let's see what this says, Andreas.
Yeah.
We continue to hear troubling reports about Spider-Man 4, though they were arguably to be expected given how long it's been since we last saw the wall call or the big screen. 2021 Spider-Man's No Way Home. It was a very long time ago. Holy shit, that was in 2021?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, what, 3 years? Yeah. Since
So, let's see. We take everything with a pinch of salt for now, but Daniel Rickman, who's another one of those sources I was talking about, is today reporting that Sony is keen to rush Spider-Man 4 into theaters no matter what. Even if it means Kevin Feige can't be closely involved from the creative standpoint. Essentially, the studio is desperate for a hit. What a surprise after freaking Adam Webb. Sony boss Tom Rothman is eager for John Watts, the director of Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, and Spider-Man No Way Home to return. He's, after all, a reliable hand who delivered 3 massive critical and commercial successes for them. Feige, meanwhile, wants someone else, Drew Goddard, presumably, and would like Watts to work on other MCU projects. The filmmaker very nearly helmed the Fantastic Four, and that's because, as you know, Andres, we believe that they want to go more street level with Spider-Man. They don't want to go with the direction that essentially this article is going to explain that Sony wants to go in, but they want to double down on the multiverse even more, right? And bring Toby back and bring Andrew back and all that shit. And that's not what Marvel wants. Marvel wants Daredevil in the shit. Marvel wants the Kingpin involved.
Yeah. So let me chime in. So I knew this news like a week since. If you guys haven't seen the Screen Crush, two of his videos have kind of explained about what's been going on. And there was another one, the Break Room, really great new channel I discovered. They discuss is going on with Spider-Man 4. And yeah, I mean, Jeff is on point. This is so true. I mean, it's not really a rumor. It's been very like apparent that this is happening. Like Marvel.
Yeah, this is what's happening in the backgrounds right now. There's a struggle, a battle between the direction of the film and the actual content of the film.
So everyone needs to understand. Sony wants to push this next year in 2025. That's what the rumors are saying.
Not only that, but they want to for the first time they actually want to contradict what Marvel wants to do with the film completely. Right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what they're explaining in the article right now, is that for the first time Sony actually wants complete control of the project. Essentially, like they want their own director on the film against Feige's wishes, right? Even though Feige's flat out said that he already declared that what's his name is not directing the next film.
John Watts. I mean,
yeah.
John Watts confirmed that. He
was supposed to do Fantastic Four. He may end up directing one of the Avengers films. But either way, no. This is the first time where they're literally like Sony actually, from a creative standpoint, there's also a difference, right? Not just the release of the movie. But they actually want a completely different type of film with Sony Spider-Man 4 than what Marvel does.
I mean, yeah, which is kind of ridiculous. Because, I mean, let's be honest here. All of us want a grounded Spider-Man film with Daredevil and Kingpin. I mean, that's been kind of universally what we want for the next Spider-Man film. We don't want another multiverse film. So I don't understand what Sony wants to do it again. Like, you cannot beat the Spider-Verse film.
No, I'm tired of this multiverse bullshit. I'm over it. You know, we've talked about that. I'm done.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I didn't understand when I was watching that video you sent me, was that they weren't talking about any of this stuff right here that I'm talking about the fact that like they were actually setting up and talking about this film is going to be set up for the Avengers. It's not going to be. That's not what Marvel Studios wants.
No, I mean, that's what like seemingly Sony wants to do. I mean, it's really bizarre.
Essentially, that's what Sony wants. Yes.
Yeah, and and then they discuss, and that video, they discussed that universally everyone wants to do a grounded Spider-Man film. I mean, because the ending of No Way Home promised us that. So why?
I know they already set it up, right? It's already been set up. And Andres, that's why I sent you that video. That video I sent you from the Cosmic Wonder was explaining how how for now on, after 2025, Marvel Studios, when they do the Disney Plus episode series now, they're all going to be grounded street action stuff. That's what they're going to start doing. That's it. That and animation.
Yeah.
Right? That's the direction that they're going in. Right? It's like, again, stuff that people actually want right now, which is grounded series like Daredevil, Echo, right? Even take away the Goldie hands.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of obvious, really. What else? What else did they like? I mean,
Well,
also like
they are mentioning this thing with Miles Morales, just basically saying that
so like Pascal wants Kevin to be involved with this, which is probably the smartest thing that Sony is actually saying in this situation. Like, I agree. Like, you do need Kevin Feige to be involved with this. You know, like Miles Morales film.
well, obviously, yeah. I mean, Feige's been heavily involved in all the Spider-Man films,
yeah. I mean,
going back to the first ones.
yeah, the Sam Raimi trilogy. He wasn't there for the Intergarfield.
No, he wasn't. But I'm just saying he's been like, we don't know completely, but it's to be, if I understand it correctly, he's heavily, of course, because of how important Spider-Man is to the MCU. He's heavily involved in the creative aspect of these Spider-Man films.
Yeah, these newer ones. Yes, I mean with Tom Holland. Yeah.
Pascal says a live-action Miles won't be seen on screen until we make 2 or more movies, meaning Spider-Man films with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, because I think they want to wrap up the Spider-Verse trilogy, the animation films, and they are going to do the Spider-Woman animation film that's the lead for Spider-Gwen, and so that's going to be a while for us to get like a live action.
It would make sense for them to do the trilogy that they're planning. I already said they were going to do, because remember Sony already said they were going to do another trilogy with Marvel, right?
Yeah.
With Tom Holland. It's already been set in stone essentially, right? So
I mean,
it would make sense for them to do. Yeah, it would make sense for them to do. Well, they don't have a contract for the 3 films that we know of. We don't remember so they don't release that information anymore.
No,
we don't know any more of the details of the contracts.
Yeah,
between Sony and Marvel.
Like ever since
a couple years ago, they stopped telling us what actually happens in the contracts.
Yeah, because the last time, like I remember this, like the last time,
like we don't know how many. Well, in the current contract, we don't know how many appearances or what he's obligated under this contract right now.
Yeah, and this, like what I heard is they were going to make one more Spider-Man film that was No Way Home, and then there was like one more like for like a crossover. So like that was the last time I heard.
Feige and Pascal did a press conference together after Spider-Man 3 saying that they're doing another trilogy with Tom Holland.
Right, which we all heard since 3 years ago.
Where he's going to go back to college, or he's going to go to college, and he's going to go back to be the neighborhood Spider-Man, right? And be ground level and be street level Spider-Man. Aunt May, Aunt May's going to be dead now, but you get the gist, right? So essentially, this is interesting because, again, it's just a really big rub. I didn't see Madam Web. Did you see it, Andreas? Well, I mean, everyone that I've heard that's seen it said it was terrible.
I mean,
like really bad, like not even worth watching.
Yeah, I saw Screen Crush review. I've seen a lot of reviews saying that
even the guy from Screen Crush, remember he said, "Don't go watch this."
Yeah, it's really bad. Like it does like,
and he never says that.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it was really that bad, and like at least like they're comparing it like to Morbius. Like at least Morbius was like entertaining. At least this wasn't, apparently. So
yeah, this might have been one where I would have had to walk out if I would have went. Like I did with Aquaman 2.
Aquaman 2, yeah.
Why not? If it's that bad, like after the first 20 minutes or whatnot, I just leave.
Yeah, not a good start for this year for Sony. I mean, because they got 2 movies coming out this year. No,
they fucked up with Kraven already.
Yeah, Kraven and I mean Venom 3.
I know. They really fucked up with Kraven. If I was the dude that's playing Kraven, what's his name? I would be pissed.
Yeah, and Taylor Johnson.
Yeah. I'd be like, fuck you, Sony. Thanks a lot for taking my movie already. Yeah. Like, the people who already pre-bought tickets for like fucking Kraven are like trying to give them back to the theaters now after Madam Web, right? I want my money back.
Yeah, oh my God. So bad. I mean,
That's what's been happening already. The movie theaters have been like admitting that like the minute that the reviews came out on Madam Web, all these people who had already pre-bought tickets and whatnot, they wanted their money back.
Oh my God, it was so funny. I heard that. I was like, wow.
Who the fuck pre-bought tickets for Madam Web?
I don't know. Like, the video I show you from, I think, Screen Crush, apparently like I get people.
Unless you had to, because you do like what we do.
Yeah,
right?
like either that, but like I think people believe this was like a important, like they thought that it was the Marvel Studios movie, and
Yeah, some
it,
people don't differentiate. They
yeah,
don't know the difference. They just see Marvel. It's Marvel.
yeah, exactly. And when you say Spider Man, you know, of course you're gonna go because
Your average general mass audience consumer of Spider-Man or whatnot, he is the most popular character in the Marvel in the history of Marvel Comics, right?
yeah,
He's the most distinguishable character by name. So your general mass audience person is not going to know the difference between Sony, it being a part of like the Sony Marvel verse versus like the
um,
MCU. To them, it's all
MCU.
the same thing.
Same thing with DC. Like people will think that maybe
Which
some
is
of
where there's a rub there, where it makes you wonder: are these Sony films actually starting to detract on the Spider-Man brand and the Marvel brand at this point? Which is
yeah,
what the video he's talking about it discusses is the legal ramifications of what could happen if this would ever happen because they'd lose if Marvel Studios actually tried to sue for the rights of Spider-Man's cinematic rights and television rights and whatnot from Sony over the fact that they're destroying the Spider-Man brand, but that it just even the lawyer in the video admitted it would never work.
no. I mean, look,
You know how long that would even take to try?
Oh yeah, I mean, people like
There'd be no Spider-Man in the MCU. There'd be no anything.
no, like it's gonna take for years to get.
That's what I'm saying. Tom Holland would age out of the character.
Yeah, this happened before, like differently with Superman during the '90s when you know after Superman 4 was a bomb, it was the worst film, whatever, right? And the people don't know this, but Warner Bros. Didn't own the Superman film rights and TV rights. It was owned by the father duo producers that did the Superman films with Christopher Reeve, and because of the success of the Batman '89 film, Warner Brothers wanted the Superman rights back because that's their brand, that's their property, and so they sued the father and slash son producers that did those films, and unfortunately they couldn't battle them because they were losing money for some of their worst films during this time, and yeah, that's what happened with the Superman rights. They got back to Warner Brothers, and it's different for here because like the Spider-Man films are still making money, and I mean, and yes, I mean the guy brought up in the video that Disney has the best lawyers in the town because I mean, come on, Disney are powerful, but at the same time, as Jeff said before,
Trademark lawyers, yes. Brand
yeah,
lawyers, yes.
yeah, trademarks, and Disney are the best at that, but no way they can just do this and get those rights back right away.
It just wouldn't happen. No,
No,
it would make no sense. So it's not going to happen. It was just the whole premise of the video was just what if almost.
Yeah,
Like what if Marvel
exactly.
Studios did this? You know what I'm saying? It would not like could they or whatever whatnot. That was the premise essentially.
Yeah.
So, but that's basically the gist of it, folks. We have no verdict on what's going to happen with Spider-Man 4 yet. These are just the rumors of what's going on behind the scenes between the two companies, right? That are over in general that basically have to share the rights of Spider-Man, right? Due to the the way that they've worked out their sharing rights with this character that Sony owns the television and the movie rights to, and Marvel Studios doesn't own, and Disney doesn't own. So we'll see what happens. Of course, we will let y'all know when we actually have some kind of firm date. Hopefully, Andres, one of these Mondays coming up, I actually have I have the real-time current slate of the releases and whatnot, as far as what we know right now. Remember we got a little bit thrown off there a week or two ago? I've got it all down now. I know where we're at.
Yeah, the MCU.
We can actually talk about maybe in the next Monday show, we can talk about the actual slate as of it is right now with Blade coming out in 2026.
Yeah.
Right?
So, like, folks, Blade is coming out in Phase 6. I think last time I checked, right?
Because we didn't have this accurately. Remember, we got thrown off there for a little bit. Well, I got it all straightened out now. I've got it all written down, the whole timeline, right? To as what we know right now, with the dates, everything of whatnot, of when the films will be coming out and all that.
Yeah, because I know that Thunderbolts are going to come out in May 2025 next year, and that's going to be the last film for Phase 5. And then Fantastic Four is going to be the one that starts Phase 6. So that's what I know.
So we'll talk about it next Monday. I've got the whole current list on it and whatnot.
Yeah.
But as far as Spider-Man 4, goes and whatnot, unless you have any final thoughts, I was going to go ahead and plug us out and get out of here.
I don't have final thoughts. I mean, it's kind of typical Sony. Like Sony, just like Spider-Man 3 and the Amazing Spider-Man 2, they always want to cram so many things in their Spider-Man films, and it's so stupid. So
woohoo! 896 subscribers, baby! Woo!
Yes. So anyway, that's my thoughts on Spider-Man 4. So I mean, hopefully they can sort their problems out. So hello, everyone. This is Andreas Pop Culture Guy. This is the channel, Andreas Pop Culture Guy channel presents.
Hot D.
Oh my God, no, not that. Anyway, so me and Jeff did the live stream for 21 Jump Street yesterday. So thank you, Jeff, for coming yesterday. It was really
no problem,
fun.
sir. I appreciate you.
And so we did good. So that's awesome. So I just posted another Powerpuff Girls Super Smash Up Part 3. So check that out. Tomorrow I'm gonna post a 21 Jump Street movie tribute, and then hopefully I'll think of something to wrap up February.
Oh man, you're killing it with those Powerpuff Girls Super Smash videos, bruh.
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness. So yeah, which is good. So check out all the February content I just did this month. So far good. Not as big as last month for January, but like thank goodness I'm doing the Powerpuff Girls one, because at least they're busting out. But the live streams are done very well from last month and then this month, which is good. So
yeah, we're doing good. And we got Chucky to cover again soon.
Yes, in April. So yeah, no worry, folks. We know when Chuck is going to come back. It's April 8th of 2024. So me and Jeff are going to go back and do the TV Weekly live streams of Chucky Season 3, which is awesome. And and then next month, we know we're going to review for March movie reviews for live streams. So March 10th, March 10th. Me and Jeff are going to review H. Venturo, Pet Detective, because it's 30th anniversary this year. And then 2 weeks after that, we're going to do Ghostbusters, the 1984 film, for its 40th anniversary. But plus, also because the new Ghostbusters film is going to release March 22nd on a Friday, so it'll be a good time to do like a Ghostbuster review. So that's our plan for the live stream for March for 2 movie reviews. So hopefully you guys can watch and check those out for those movies.
There you go, folks. And on 2/28, Wednesday, without Andres for this week, we're going to do our first episode of Shogun, right? The FX series that's going to be on FX and Hulu. And Andres, I'll get to hook you up with that Hulu info after the show, bro.
Okay. Cool.
And then on Friday this week for our movie review, we have Heat. We have Michael Mann's Heat with Pacino and De Niro.
Yes.
So we'll have our drinking game going again on that one. In the meantime, we're going to get the hell out of here. This is me and Andreas closing out for the MCU'S Bleeding Edge report for this evening. We appreciate all of y'all that checked in and got in the comment section. We appreciate all of y'all that support the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. Thanks for helping us get over 40,000 subscribers. And God bless y'all. Peace.
'Cause I'm about that.